On the balcony, yeah. No, they already take the seats already. Welcome to the election committee. Honorable Chief Justice of India is here. स्मृति का है, स्मृति कुमारी है, उपेंद्र मिश्रा जी, नमस्ते मुकेश जी, समता 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 का है। अंदिता मैम को बोल दो, अपर्णा मैम, समता नहीं, एक और दे देना, एक और एक समता एक तुम्हें देना महेश्वरी जी की वाइफ को, और एक उनको भी अंदिता पुजारी मैम को ही बोल दो, पंकज मित्तल की वाइफ के लिए। हाँ, अटॉर्नी जनरल भी तो मुझसे बात फिर लेट है। यस यस, I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President SCBA, to kindly escort Honorable Chief Justice of India, Honorable Justice Maheshwari, Honorable Justice Pankaj Mittal, Judges Supreme Court of India, London Attorney General for India, Mr. R. Venkatramani, to the dais. Sorry, sir, not well today. Oh. So I couldn't, I did not say too much. मैंने कविता लिखी थी, मैं यहाँ ही बोलूँगी, यहीं बोलूँगी। I request Ms. Smriti Kumari, Member Executive SCBA, to present planter to Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant Ji, Chief Justice of India. I request Mr. Upendra Mishra, Member Executive SCBA, to present planter to Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Judge Supreme Court of India. Now I request Mr. Mukesh Kumar Singh, Member Executive SCBA, to present planter to Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Judge Supreme Court of India. I request Ms. Samta Pushkarna Mishra, Member Executive SCBA, to present planter to R. Venkatramani, London Attorney General for India. I request Mr. Rohit Vas, Member Executive SCBA, to present planter of flowers to Mrs. Uma Maheshwari, wife of Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Judge Supreme Court of India. I request Ms. Andita Pujari, ma'am, Senior Member Executive SCBA, to present planter to Mrs. Kanika Mittal, wife of Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Judge Supreme Court of India. Thank you, ma'am. I welcome Honorable Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari, sir, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, sir, judges of the Supreme Court of India, and all the judges of the Supreme Court of India. We have with us Rishikesh Roy, sir, Justice Bindal, sir, who are retired judges of the Supreme Court of India. We have Justice Shukla from MP High Court, especially came to attend the farewell function. Welcome, sir. I welcome learned Attorney General for India, Solicitor General of India, learned ASGs with Mr. Vikas Singh, President, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President. We have Mr. Nikhil Jain, Vice President SCORA, Ms. Yugandhara Pawaja, Secretary SCORA, and newly elected office bearers of the SCORA, law officers and bar and bench, including the office bearers of the SCBA, media person. We have Pramod Jain, President Advocate Association of UP. He has also specially came to attend this function. And we have one Mr. Sanjay Gupta, sir, advocate. He is a classmate of Justice Pankaj Mittal from class 1. He is also here. I welcome all the family members of Justice J.K. Maheshwari, sir, and Justice Pankaj Mittal, sir, who are present here. Before we begin today's farewell function, I must say that audience is truly in for a delightful surprise. After all, we are celebrating two distinguished judges who come from Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, the heartland of Hindi literature, where kavita, shairi, and storytelling are not just art forms, but emotion that rule every heart, along with law and wisdom. There will be also a little flavor from Pankaj Mittal, sir, of poetry, warmth, and memories of the evening. Today, as we bid farewell to Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari, sir, or Honorable Justice Pankaj Mittal, sir, we do so with deep respect and affection. Justice Maheshwari, sir, come from Madhya Pradesh. His lordship remarkable journey from small town Jora, district Morena, to the Supreme Court of India is truly inspiring, disciplined, and immense with hard work. His extraordinary memory, which we have all heard today in the ceremonial bench, has always inspired the bar. Many of us genuinely felt that every page of the file was already in his lordship's memory even before the matter began. My lord, I have written few lines which would perfectly describe your lordship. Justice Maheshwari, sir, popularly known as JK, आप हैं मध्य प्रदेश की शान, सरल स्वभाव और ऊंची पहचान. मेहनत ऐसी, याददाश्त निराली, हर पन्ने पर रहती है आपकी पकड़ निराली. We welcome you again, sir. Honorable Justice Pankaj Mittal, sir, who come from Uttar Pradesh, a land known for wisdom, culture, and the beautiful art of storytelling. Outside the courtroom, his lordship has always carried warmth, humor, and humanity. A simple conversation with sir would easily become a memorable story. In addition to being an outstanding judge, sir always has been a deeply human and a kind person. And for sir, these lines fit perfectly. Justice Mittal, sir, यूपी की मिट्टी का मान, शांत वाणी और मधुर मुस्कान, किस्सों से महफिल सजा दें, बातों से आप सबका दिल जीत जाते. On behalf of the bar, we sincerely thank both your lordship and wish you happiness and good health. With this, I now request Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President of SCBA, to kindly give his welcome address.
Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Judge Supreme Court of India, family members of Justice J.K. Maheshwari, his son Manu Maheshwari, who is a practicing lawyer, his daughter Diksha Maheshwari, wife of Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Uma Maheshwari ma'am, family members of Justice Pankaj Mittal, his wife Mrs. Kanika Mittal, daughter Vani Mittal, his son-in-law Paritosh, his son Vinayak Mittal, who is a practicing lawyer before this Honorable Court and Allahabad High Court, Honorable Judges of Supreme Court, Justice Rajesh Mittal and Justice Rishikesh Roy, former judges of this Honorable Court, Learned Attorney General for India, Learned Solicitor General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, other law officers, President Skora, Vice President Skora, Mr. Nikhil Jain, President Devrat, Secretary Yugandhra, President Mr. Vikas Singh, Secretary Pragya Baghel, learned senior advocates, and my fellow colleagues at the bar, a very good evening to you all. Today we have gathered here to bid farewell to two distinguished judges, Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal. Justice J.K. Maheshwari was born on 29 June 1961 in Chaura, District Morena in state of Madhya Pradesh. He graduated in arts in 1982, completed LLB in 1985, and thereafter LLM in 1991, and enrolled as an advocate with State Bar Council of Madhya Pradesh on 22nd November 1985, and practiced in civil, criminal, constitutional service and tax matters. He was a very popular lawyer in the bar and was elected member of the Madhya Pradesh State Bar Council. Justice Maheshwari was appointed additional judge of the High Court of Madhya Pradesh on 25th November 2005 and became a permanent judge on 25th November 2008. During his tenure in the High Court, he remained associated with several committees for improvement of administration of the High Court. Thereafter, he assumed office as the Chief Justice of the High Court of Andhra Pradesh on 7th October 2019 and had the unique distinction of being the first Chief Justice of the newly established High Court of Andhra Pradesh. He was then transferred as Chief Justice of High Court of Sikkim on 6 January 21 and was elevated as Judge of the Supreme Court of India on 31st August 2021. Justice Maheshwari's journey is a journey of sincerity, humility, and institutional commitment. He came to the Supreme Court with the vast experience of the Bar, High Court, and the office of Chief Justice of two High Courts. Members of the Bar will remember him for his sharp grasp for facts and the ability to identify the real controversy quickly. His court always reflected balance, fairness, firmness wherever required, patience where necessary, and courtesy as a matter of judicial discipline. Justice Maheshwari would always be thorough in all the briefs, and at times appearing before him, before you could say anything, he would say, "This is your case, and anything else you wish to say?" So he was so prepared in all the matters, all 70, 80 matters on miscellaneous days. So you would always have to be on your toes. Justice Maheshwari has said in his public speeches that we often speak of dharma, but the judicial dharma is not about religion, it is about constitutional morality. It is the unwavering commitment to the public trust. He has been part of several important judgments. He was part of the bench in Union of India versus Union Carbide Corporation, matter related to his own state only, related to the curative petition concerning the Bhopal case tragedy compensation. He was also part of the Constitution bench in CBI versus Dr. R.K. Kishore, where the court dealt with the retrospective effect of Section 6 of the Delhi Special Establishment Act. Now coming to Justice Pankaj Mittal. Justice Pankaj Mittal was born on 17 June 1961 at Meerut in a family of lawyers. He received his early education at St. Mary's Academy, Meerut, graduated in BCom Honours from the University of Allahabad in 1982, and thereafter obtained his law degree from Meerut College, Chaudhry Charan Singh University. He enrolled with the Bar Council of Uttar Pradesh in 1985 and started practice under the guidance of Sri Sudhir Chand Verma, who later adorned the bench of the Allahabad High Court and also became Lok Ayukt of Uttar Pradesh. Justice Mittal mainly practiced on the civil side and dealt with the large number of matters concerning land acquisition, rent control, education, motor accident claims, labor, service. He also served as a standing counsel of Uttar Pradesh Awas Vikas Parishad and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Agra. He is a third generation lawyer, and his father, Justice Narendra Nath Mittal, was also a judge of the Allahabad High Court. Justice Mittal was elevated as an additional judge of the Allahabad High Court on 17 July 2006. He was elevated as Chief Justice of the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh on 4 January 21, transferred as Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court on 14th October 22, and elevated as a judge of the Supreme Court on 6 February 23. Justice Mittal's judicial personality reflects the depth of a civil lawyer, discipline of a constitutional judge, and a patience of a judge who understands that procedure is not a technicality but a safeguard of justice. His judgments show clarity in reasoning, respect for substantive rights, and a deep understanding of the realities of litigation. In Ghanshyam versus Yogendra Rathi, Justice Mittal dealt with important questions concerning property law and the legal consequences of documents related to immovable property. In High Court Bar Association Allahabad versus State of UP, concerning his own state, he was part of the Constitution bench which reconsidered the directions in the Asian resurfacing and held that stay orders cannot automatically stand vacated merely by passage of time. thereby reaffirming judicial discretion and the independence of high courts in dealing with matters pending before them. Justice Mittal was also part of the 7-judge bench in the scheduled caste subclassification matter, where the Supreme Court considered whether subclassification within scheduled caste is constitutionally permissible for ensuring that benefits of reservation reach the more backward among the backward. He has also emphasized consistently with regard to value-based legal education in his speeches, ethical practice, and the importance of quality in judicial work. In public interactions, Justice Mittal has spoken about the need for young lawyers and students to understand that law is not merely a profession but a public duty. He has also supported the use of technology in the judicial system while maintaining that fairness, accessibility, and human judgment must remain central to justice delivery. He is such a humble person that if someone doesn't know that he is a sitting Supreme Court judge, if someone has a conversation, won't realize that he is the judge of the highest court of the country. On a personal level, my father started his career with Justice Mittal's father, and my father still says whatever he could do in his life was because of the guidance and mentorship provided by Justice Mittal's father, late Sri Narendra Nath Mittal, as my father had lost his father very early in his life. Both honorable judges have contributed to the institution in their own distinct ways. Both have shown that the true strength of a judge lies not merely in authority, but in restraint, not merely in deciding matters, but in doing so with fairness, patience, and dignity. Members of the bar will remember both honorable judges for their courtesy in court, their patience while hearing matters. For young members of the bar, their journeys are a reminder that this profession rewards sincerity and discipline and integrity. The life of honorable judges is not easy, and with the amount of work they have to do, they get very little time for their families. Important family occasions, social engagements, and moments of leisure are frequently sacrificed for the duty. Today, while we bid farewell to both of them from judicial office, we also express our gratitude to the families of both the honorable judges who are present here, who have silently shared the burden of a public duty. Sir, hopefully now you have more time to spend with your families and loved ones. On behalf of the members of the bar, we wish you both a very happy, healthy, and fulfilling retired life. We also hope that the institution and the bar will continue to receive your guidance and wisdom in the years to come. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. R. Venkatram Neelan, Attorney General for India, to kindly deliver his address.
Yesterday at the Skoda function, I had the benefit of listening to Justice Pankaj Mittal's wonderful poetry-laced speech. Then I asked him to, he spared the speech with me, and then late in the evening I went through that with my own little difficulty in reading Hindi, but then it is a great treasure house, sir, and the poetry you laced your speech yesterday, and I was wondering, what do I say today, either in a poetical language or in simple prose? And I thought, let me prepare a speech. Then, as I was sitting by the side of Justice Maheshwari, I thought, let me begin my speech with a poetical piece rather than simple prosaic speech. So I prepared this small poetry in the morning today before the ceremonial bench. And since it was only a small gathering, I thought, let me not, if it is not too insensitive, to read it out again in this August gathering. So I wrote both sharing my thoughts regarding Justice Maheshwari as well as Justice Pankaj Mittal. So these are my words on Justice Maheshwari. Stern in language, soft in reach to the bar, strict in commands, sharp in knowledge, time never sleeps in the flow of work, swiftness in his poignant moves, before we wink our eyes, orders drop. Conversation sharp, hitting the bull's eye, if not alert to the volley of questions, remember we missed the bullet train. Had the train moved fast, swift we were on our feet, lessons were learned as we left the court on how better we may do on the next day to get good orders. And as Justice Pankaj Mittal, unsettled never in his court, unruffled you could be, in all the ease, questions soft, with all the ease your answers could be. Be sure, but you could be quietly pulled up for your remiss and homework wrong. Leave granted or not, with a leave of comfort, we left your court. With a gift of smile you gave us. We wonder how our noise and decibels high did wear not the patience you wore on your words. Teacher-like, you spent your time on the bench. Those who had a mind to learn, many a treasures did gather. Our memories will never fade. Today, as we are gathered to bid farewell to Honorable Justice Maheshwari and Honorable Justice Pankaj Mithal, the bar does so with a deep respect, warmth, and gratitude. Farewell event is not merely an occasion of parting, it's equally an occasion for reflections. But when one looks at the lives of both the lordships, one sees two distinguished journeys, different in origin and setting, but united by the same enduring values of discipline, labor, learning, humility, and devotion to the institution. Justice J.K. Maheshwari's long journey in law bears all the marks. From his journey from a small town of Jaora in the Morena district of Madhya Pradesh to the Supreme Court is not merely a story. By his own description, coming from a middle-class family with a village background, Justice Maheshwari's rise has been one of quiet and steady effort. There is something very deeply reassuring in such a life story. A person shaped not by display, but by discipline, not by noise, but by steady and serious labor. The Maheshwari's professional foundations were laid in broad and substantial practice. Practice in civil, criminal, constitutional, service and tax matters, mainly at the Gwalior bench of the Madhya Pradesh High Court, and also appeared before several tribunals. He served as an elected member of the Madhya Pradesh State Bar Council with distinction, and also a chairman of the disciplinary committee, which bears a mark on what he does in the court. On being elevated in the year 2005 as an additional judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court, Justice Maheshwari has spent almost 16 years as a judge of the High Court, later becoming Chief Justice of the newly established Andhra Pradesh High Court and the Chief Justice of the High Court of Sikkim before taking over Judicial Court in 2021. What stands out equally in Justice Maheshwari's career is his contribution to institution building. During his tenure in the Madhya Pradesh High Court, he was associated with important committees concerning higher judicial services and building, construction, maintenance, finance, and juvenile justice. As the first Chief Justice of the newly formed Andhra Pradesh High Court, his leadership was crucial in the court's formative stage. He facilitated the framing of rules for higher and subordinate judicial services and gender sensitization. And under his watch, the Andhra Pradesh High Court became the first High Court in India to hear cases in virtual mode during the pandemic. There is a good deal of literature now on judicial behavior. The literature discusses attitudes, ideologies, personal beliefs, and a host of similar matters, which go into the production of law in the hands of judges. In the midst of this proliferating literature, we can see the focus is on compassionate and creative mind adding to the quality of law. It is in this context I wish to gather how compassion and creativity played a role when Justice Maheshwari, as Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court, dealt with the LG Polymers poisonous gas leakage matter. The interim directions issued under his pen have now virtually become enduring principles to be applied in all such situations. I also see that while the Honorable Judge was leading the Andhra Pradesh High Court, probably ruffled a lot of feathers while issuing contempt notices in a case titled In Re Nandigram Suresh. Perhaps that is the right thing to have been done by the court taking so much of cognizance of contemptuous speeches, interviews, and posting by several people, including legislators. We see the world of social media today and think that it has no bounds. In 2025, in the case of Sarita Singh, the division bench comprising Justice Maheshwari and Justice Arvind Kumar leaned fully in favor of compensation to the family of a doctor who was shot dead while working in a community health center. Arguments against vicarious liability were kept aside. Similarly, I found Justice Maheshwari, along with Chief Justice Suryakant, again in favor of a deceased railway passengers on the question of compensation, rejecting technical objections. I cited these instances only to show that when opportunities land on the hands of judges, how compassion orientation can be a persuasion for laying down signposts for future understanding of law. When the Union Carbide curative petition was heard appearing for the Union of India, I fondly hoped for a helping hand. I must also observe that how the Honorable Judge deftly drew the act of balancing in matters of sustainable development when grant of ex post facto approval was not disfavored. And again, in the field of criminal law, emphasizing the non-negotiable proposition that prosecution must prove its case beyond all reasonable doubt and cannot be based merely on the basis of presumptions relating to the background of the accused. On the judicial side, Lordship bench was part of an important constitution benches, including the Union of India Union Carbide Corporation case and Varun Srinivasan, etc. Even more recently, his Lordship has entrusted the chairmanship of the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee, a responsibility central to access to justice for the weaker and marginalized sections. And beyond office and output, the bar will remember with a special affection Lordship's characteristic humility reflected in his own words at the Andhra Pradesh farewell. I have done nothing. In fact, the credit has come to me by those who deserve credit. If one may respectfully say so, the journeys of Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Honorable Justice Pankaj Mithal begin from different settings, but arrive at the same judicial destination. When one looks at both their careers closely, the same truth emerges with clarity. In the law, effort, discipline, and sustained patience with labor. And born in 1961 at Meerut, educated at St. Mary's Academy, thereafter in commerce at the University of Allahabad, in law in Meerut College, Justice Pankaj Mithal entered the profession in 1985. He came from a family where the law was not merely a profession, but a tradition. And his father, late father, Justice Narendranath Mithal, also adorned the bench of the Allahabad High Court. Lordship's own career bears the clear mark of individual merit, scholarship, discipline, and perseverance. If tradition gave him an inheritance of values, it was sustained labor that gave him a stature at the bar and on the bench. Justice Mittal's years at the bar were years of real substance. He practiced mainly on the civil side and dealt with a wide range of matters, including land acquisition, rent control, education, motor accident claims, labor, service, and constitutional questions. He also served as standing counsel for the Uttar Pradesh Awas Evam Vikas Parishad, Lucknow, and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University. During his days as an advocate, Justice Mittal, also known for his writing and his work, a seminal work, The Birth and Life of the High Court of Judicature at Allahabad, continues to be remembered in that regard. That breadth of practice and depth of scholarship often leave their imprint on a judge, and perhaps it is his grounding which later lent his hardship's judicial work its clarity, restraint, and practical wisdom. Post his elevation as additional judge of the Allahabad High Court in 2006, Justice Pankaj Mithal went on to assume the office of Chief Justice of the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir in 2021, and later as Chief Justice of the Rajasthan High Court in 2022, before being elevated to the Honorable Court in 2023. The records show the Lordship associated with important administrative responsibilities at the Allahabad High Court and held positions in academic and public bodies. His life in law, therefore, has not been confined to the courtroom alone. It has extended to the strengthening of institutions connected with legal education, legal memory, and public service. On the judicial side, Justice Mittal's work reveals both fidelity to principle and sensitivity to consequence. Whether in matters of constitutional process, arbitral discipline, rights of litigants, or questions touching ordinary human relationships, one finds in his judgments an effort to keep the law both principled and workable. In the High Court Bar Association case, his Lordship was part of the Constitution bench, which restored emphasis on due process and rejected the notion of automatic lapse of stay orders. As I browsed through many judgments delivered by Justice Pankaj Mithal, I came across the same vein of compassion and the balancing exercise. As Chief Justice of Jammu Kashmir High Court, he was in no doubt as regards the vicarious liability of the government for the death of children caused due to consumption of spurious cough syrup. His art also leaned in favor of equality rights in matters of religion, while the Honorable Judge thought it was in the fitness of things to permit the family of a deceased who died in a course of encounter to perform religious rituals and prayers. The balancing part of it stands reflected in Justice Pankaj Mithal in the division bench headed by Justice Narasimha. There can be no liability for medical negligence merely by applying the doctrine of res ipsa loquitur. In a changing cultural and social milieu, whether not going ahead with a marriage proposition we considered as criminal liability for abetment of suicide is an engaging question. 2 years ago, the division bench of Pankaj Mithal and Justice Ujjal Bayan gave an answer against such liability. Other class of litigants who found refuge in his court included home buyers of real estate projects, aspirants for enrollment in armed forces who had issues relating to the production of requisite certificates, and members of family embroiled in disputes relating to property when a mother sought eviction of her son from a house. A very concerned observation, namely, we are on the brink of one person, one family, was thus made by the Honorable Judge. These are not merely judicial conclusions, they reflect a judge attentive both to law and to life. As we bid farewell to the Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Honorable Justice Pankaj Mithal, the bar does not so only with gratitude, but also as it is a reflection. Their lordship's journeys are different in origin, different in texture, and different in outward circumstances, yet both careers converge on one enduring lesson for all of us at the bar, that there is in the final analysis no substitute for hard work, no shortcut around discipline, no enduring success without labor, and no true judicial distinction without humility and fidelity to the institution. Their lordships' lives in law affirm that while backgrounds may differ, it is a sustained effort and character that ultimately shape a judge's legacy. On this solemn and gracious occasion, the bar offers its respectful gratitude to both the honorable judges for the long and distinguished service to the law, the High Court they served and led to the honorable court. We wish both their lordships and their families good health, peace, fulfillment, and happiness in the years ahead. To their lordships, now demit office, the value they brought to the bench, sobriety, learning, humility, institutional devotion, balance in judgment, and civility in office will endure in the judicial records of this court and in the affectionate memory of the bar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President SCBA, to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Justice Suryakant, Honorable Judges of this court, Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Justice Pankaj Mithal, the learned Attorney General for India, the learned Solicitor General for India, Justice Rajesh Bindal and Justice Rishikesh Roy, our former judges who are present here today, office bearers of the SCBA, Executive Committee members of the SCBA, office bearers of SCORA, Executive Committee members of SCORA, members of the bar, family members of Justice Mittal and Justice Maheshwari present here and watching online, ladies and gentlemen. We are honored to be joined by the families of Justice Maheshwari, Mrs. Uma Maheshwari, their son Manu, who is an advocate, and their daughter, Dr. Diksha, and their son-in-law, Dr. Hon'ble, and also by the presence of Shrimati Kanika Mittal, wife of Justice Mittal, their daughter Bani, who is an interior designer, and son Vinayak, who is an advocate here today. One thing remarkable about the two honorable judges are that both of them were into racket sports. Both of them played badminton and table tennis quite seriously. In fact, Justice Maheshwari, I believe, was also state champion in badminton, although we saw his quick reflexes in the court when we were arguing matters before him, and we could make out that this definitely has to be a sports person reacting to the bar in our matters there. The commonality of both Justice Mittal and Justice Maheshwari are that both have been extremely kind to the bar. Justice Mittal, when we appeared before him, most of the time we were pleasantly surprised by him noticing a point which the junior lawyer had not probably thought of in his favor. And that is something which is remarkable in judiciary, that a judge is so well prepared on our institution that he is able to take out and bring out points in favor of the litigant which the lawyer appearing is not aware. Of course, sometimes he used to also bring out some surprises which we were also not prepared, because he used to find something also hidden against us. But those were rare. Most of the time we used to have Justice Maheshwari, at least for the common man, when the litigation of a common man was before him, or a junior lawyer was before him, he would be more willing or wanting or trying to find out points in their favor and give them relief. Justice Maheshwari has been extremely pleasant to the members of the bar. We have never had a problem of, except sometimes when he imposed a lot of cost on some members of the bar, which of course in his later days we saw was also, that practice also he discontinued. But I'm sure that must be sometimes very frustrating for him when members of the bar want to argue something which is settled in law and still they want to say something, and he must have done that only in such occasions. And otherwise, we have had a wonderful experience as far as Justice Maheshwari is concerned, or Justice Mittal is concerned. It's always a sad moment when judges retire, and it is a more sad moment when judges who are popular in the bar retire. But we are happy that almost coincidentally, we are having also 5 judges coming to this court, and 3 of them have been the members of the bar, our bar, and one of them is a practicing advocate, Mohana V. Mohana, who is coming as a lady member, and the Honorable Chief Justice of India had always been advocating to improve the representation of women in the higher judiciary. And I think it's a very, very positive step of bringing in 5 judges simultaneously, and also 1 lady member from our bar who has been elevated, because we have always seen that a lawyer who has practiced in the Supreme Court, his method or his manner of dealing matters as a judge is always far, far better. I'm not trying to comment on the judges who have not practiced, I mean, who came from the various high courts. They also bring in very different and very wide experiences, which is also very, very important, because the kind of problems that a high court faces is very different from what we in Supreme Court face. So it's actually the best system of having some from the bar here and mostly from the bench in the various high courts. Justice Mittal also, we have had an amazing time with Justice Mittal here. I have never seen Justice Mittal ever ruffled in his courtroom. I have never seen him ever being unpleasant to any member of the bar. I have always seen him always trying to find what best can be done in a matter. And there was a lot of equity-mindedness in him to try and see that if there is some relief possible to be given to a litigant, he always tried to do that. And that is what we expect from judges. In fact, we will expect the same from these new judges also, and I'm sure we will not be disappointed. So I actually had made a very long speech, but I thought that 2 judges are retiring and they would like to speak their hearts out, and which is actually what the bar has come for. So I thought I'll rather restrict it to just wishing them well in their future life. I'm sure both of them will be with us here in Delhi, guiding us and also being with us. There is an interesting thing which came out before I came onto the dais, and Justice Karol mentioned that he was a member of the bar, and why can't after retirement judges be allowed to continue their membership in some capacity or the other. And I thought it is a very opportune, it's a very good thought. Unfortunately, we never thought of this scroll, and I can assure you that from now onwards, we will be making every retiring judge an honorary member of the Supreme Court Bar Association. And we will welcome you, sir, after retirement, to come to our bar and spend time with us. And it will be a great emotional moment for the members of the bar to interact with you and to learn from your experiences. Because I have seen that mostly when the judges retire, they stop coming to Supreme Court. And probably with this new system that I'm going to announce, and to be honest, I have not discussed it with my executive committee, but I'm confident that this is something which I'll have no problem, and I'm declaring it without discussing with them. So I would welcome both of you, sir, that please come to the bar after retirement, and including Justice Rishikesh Roy, Justice Bindal, or any other judge who's retired from this court, to be with us and guide us. And the members of the bar should benefit from your experience, your long experience, both in the bar and the bench. and we can use that experience in our association. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Honorable Mr. Justice Suryakantji, Honorable Chief Justice of India, to kindly deliver his address. I request Honorable Justice, Chief Justice of India to kindly deliver.
Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Justice Pankaj Mithal, my two dear brother judges, whom we have all gathered here to honor today, my esteemed colleagues, sister and brother judges from the Supreme Court of India, our former colleagues, Justice Rishikesh Roy and Justice Rajesh Bindal, Shri R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Shri Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Learned Additional Solicitor Generals, and other law officers of the Union and State governments, Shri Vikas Singh, Senior Advocate and President of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Shri Rahul Kaushik, Senior Advocate, and Vice President, Supreme Court Bar Association, Ms. Pragya Baghel, Honorary Secretary, Supreme Court Bar Association, Executive members of the Supreme Court Bar Association, distinguished senior advocates, and esteemed members of the Bar, office bearers of the Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, Secretary General, registrars, and other officials of the Supreme Court establishment, very respected, distinguished members of families of Justice Maheshwari and Justice Mithal, who are kind enough to accept our invite and are present here to grace this occasion, the old associates, family, friends of my brothers Justice Maheshwari and Justice Mithal, who are also present here, ladies and gentlemen, farewells are rarely an easy occasion in the judiciary, and such moments become even more difficult when two brothers judges live almost together, each having contributed to the institution in their own distinct and meaningful way. This evening is therefore marked by a deep sense of gratitude and reflection as we bid farewell to Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Justice Pankaj Mithal after their long and accomplished years in judicial service. At the outset, I must thank the Supreme Court Bar Association for organizing this farewell with the warmth, grace, and affection that both my brothers richly deserve. One of the reasons why I feel farewells matter so deeply is also because it allows us, if only briefly, to look beyond the judgments and courtrooms and speak about the individuals behind the office. It gives us a chance to speak about colleagues who brought to this institution not just legal acumen, but also conviction and an unwavering sense of purpose. Today, through this gathering, let me speak about my two brother judges in that spirit, as individuals who gave the finest years of their lives to an institution far greater than themselves, and in doing so they strengthened it with dignity and unflinching commitment. When I refer to my brother Justice Maheshwari's journey that has carried the imprint of discipline, humility, and deep personal integrity, he has often spoken with simplicity and honesty about his early years and the values shaped by his modest beginnings. And those of us who know him closely would agree that even after occupying the most important constitutional offices, those values never left him. These were qualities came to be defined and really become the integral part of a judicial career. After his elevation to Madhya Pradesh High Court in 2005, lawyers who appeared before him during those years often speak of his clarity of thought and his unmistakable direct approach to adjudication. He was a judge who believed that proceedings must remain focused, precise, and purposeful. Those attributes assumed even greater significance when he later on became Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh High Court in 2019. He assumed leadership during an especially sensitive and demanding period. As I said during his ceremonial bench also, that was the time when both the states were reorganized, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Andhra Pradesh was a new High Court. To begin with a new High Court, the old sentiments was a big challenge for a Chief Justice. And my brother so wonderfully handled that responsibility with exceptional composure and balance, ensuring that the functioning of the court remained stable and dignified during a period of considerable change. And as I pointed out, and I would like to repeat it, that it was my brother that in pandemic, that Andhra Pradesh High Court was the first one in the country which could start the virtual hearing. It was he who pioneered e-filing module enabling online filing of cases in that High Court and subordinate courts during that lockdown period. At a time when uncertainty had paralyzed institutions across the world, he demonstrated that judicial leadership is not tested in moments of comfort alone. In fact, the true strength of an institution lies in its ability to remain accessible when society needs it the most. And that instinct to make the justice system more responsive and accessible is also visible in his vast body of work. You talk with judgments reflected that how he understood that constitutional principles acquire meaning only when they can respond to human concerns with fairness, sensitivity, and balance. His decision reflected a judicial philosophy firmly anchored in empathy, fairness, and an acute sense of human consequences. Perhaps it was this very understanding of human vulnerability that made his tenure as chairman of the Supreme Court Legal Service Committee a very successful and meaningful event. He approached legal aid not as a matter of generosity, but as an institutional obligation flowing from the constitutional promise of equal justice. Those who worked with him in the committee would know the seriousness and sincerity with which he pursued that responsibility. And I think 2 days back we launched on the platform of National Legal Service Authority a new software, e-Prisons Early Release Processing Module. And that software that has been now launched on pan-India basis is all innovative judicial approach and judicial activism and judicial innovative ideas of my brother Justice Maheshwari, who while dealing with one of the matter, realized that there is no uniformity, there is no accountability, there is no transparency in the matter of dealing with applications for premature release or remission in across the different states, and therefore he felt necessity to launch an all India module that we have successfully done only 3 days back. My brother Maheshwari has always carried himself with quite grace and dignity. There is a certain calmness about him that reassures everyone around him, whether on the bench or outside it. He has now begun a new chapter of life, of course, after almost 1 month. And I sincerely hope he carries with him the affection, respect, and gratitude of an entire institution that has been richer because of his presence. When I was going through the life, the background and the life cycle of my brother Maheshwari, and you know that when we remember today Bashir Badr, there is a special reason that we must pay some tribute to that one of the greatest शायर. तो मुझे बशीर बद्र का एक शेर महेश्वरी भाई के लिए याद आ जाता है, हम भी दरिया हैं, हमें अपना हुनर मालूम है, जिस तरफ भी चल पड़ेंगे रास्ता हो जाएगा. My brother Justice Pankaj Mithal, on the other hand, brought to the bench a personality marked by remarkable judicial temperament and a deeply human understanding of the role of a judge. I'm told that Justice Mithal is an avid stamp collector. Am I right, brother? And there is something rather fitting about that. That's my idea. A stamp collector is someone who finds meaning in details that others may overlook. Someone who understands that even a small object can carry within it an entire history in some ways. This wonderful habit of or the hobby that reflects Justice Mittal's own judicial ideology. He approached every matter, however routine it may have appeared on the surface, with seriousness and attention that it always deserved. Brother Mithal comes from a family deeply connected with the legal profession. The law was not merely a career for him. I would rather say it was in his DNA and a part of his intellectual environment from the very beginning. Yet what distinguished him was that despite his closeness with the profession, he attained his curiosity, attentiveness, and a constant willingness to engage, qualities that I believe remained visible at every stage of his judicial life. His journey began at Allahabad High Court, a court which dealt with an enormous volume of litigation and a vast jurisdiction. To serve meaningfully in such an institution required not only legal ability, but a lot of patience, endurance, and administrative skill in equal measure. Brother Mithal demonstrated all three with great consistency, earning the respect of both the bench and the bar over the years. As a jurist, Justice Mithal has consistently embodied the understanding that the Constitution is simply not a textual document to be interpreted, but a living promise to be fulfilled. His concurring opinion in Savage's Constitution bench in Devendra Singh matter, and also he is again a concurring view in the High Court of Bar Association versus State of Uttar Pradesh that reversed the principle of automatic vacation of interim orders. These will speak in volume. His opinion reaffirmed an essential constitutional value that due process is not a technicality of procedure, but the very heart of the rule of law. While I continue to speak at length about his remarkable body of judicial work, allow me to draw attention towards another side of Justice Mithal, which may outside the legal fraternity may not immediately know. And he has already given sample while speaking in Skora function, and today I am quite sure Brother Pankaj will again show some original work that he loves. His interest in Hindi literature is not hidden from us. If everything, he may, whatever may be the work pressure, but he will spend time on his literary engagements, and that's something remarkable. His association as a trustee of the Itawa Hindi Seva Nidhi, which works for the promotion of Hindi and Indian languages, speaks volumes of the commitment. I vividly recollect that after taking over as Chief Justice of India, I think that was my second event which I really have very fond memories. My brother commanded me that I should go for that annual function of the Seva Nidhi, Hindi Seva Nidhi, and I went there and had a wonderful time with one of the best eminent Shair, Barelvi Saab was there, and Surinder Sharma and other eminent personalities were there. So that shows that how much he is deeply involved in promotion of Hindi and all other languages that we find that are very the ethos of our culture. In this regard, I can confidently say that Justice Mithal and I share a common passion and belief. Language is not merely a medium of communication, but also a vehicle of inclusion. For the justice delivery system to truly serve the people of this country, it must speak in a language that citizens understand and relate to. That sensitivity towards people was also visible in his concern for younger members of the bar. In recent years, we have all discussed the challenges faced by young lawyers entering the profession, be it the uncertainty, lack of mentorship, and the pressure of sustaining a meaningful practice. My brother Justice Mithal has consistently shown deep awareness toward these concerns. Recently, I had the occasion to contribute a foreword to a book that will formally be released today in the evening, that is dedicated to my brother Justice Mittal's judicial journey, and the central theme of the book is precisely this: how Justice Mittal guides young students of law in navigating the many challenges of a legal career. Brother Mittal leaves behind not merely judgments and contributions, but also warmth, wisdom, and a genuine sense of human connection that colleagues and members of the bar will deeply miss. His humility, kindness, and thoughtful presence has touched many lives in quiet but lasting ways. I am certain that even beyond this court, he will continue to inspire affection and admiration wherever he goes. While during the ceremonial bench, we were sitting, and my two brothers were, and of course several senior advocates and other members of the bar were expressing their opinion, I just thought to pen down 2 lines for my brother. And maybe that if there is a mistake, my brother will correct me. उनके चले जाने का गम बहुत होगा, रास्ते सुनसान हो जाएंगे. उनके जाने का गम बहुत होगा, रास्ते सुनसान हो जाएंगे. शुक्र है, यकीन है कि उनकी यादों के चिराग अंधेरों में जल जाएंगे. So before parting, allow me to dedicate few lines to my brother on behalf of every judge of this court, every member of the bar, and indeed on behalf of every person in this country. I offer my brother Justice Maheshwari and Justice Mithal our deepest gratitude and our most heartful farewell. As you both very soon will step away from the bench, it is worth remembering that judicial service never truly ends with retirement. A judge may demit office, but the influence of his conduct, his judgments, and his example continues long after. Justice Maheshwari and Justice Mittal, this institution, my dear brothers, will deeply feel your absence. May retirement bring you both good health, happiness, and contentment that comes from knowing you have served the judiciary well. Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Lordship. Before I call upon Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari, I have one announcement to make. I have just confirmed him that Supreme Court Legal Aid Service Committee, headed by him, has increased the honorarium and fee schedule for mediators and legal aid panel counsel. A long demand of the bar has been accepted. We are grateful to you, sir. With this, now I request Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly deliver his address.
Esteemed Mr. Justice Suryakant, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Brother Justice Pankaj Mithal, Judge, Supreme Court of India, distinguished sister and brother judges of the Supreme Court, distinguished former judges, Justice Rishikesh Roy, Justice Bindal, respected Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General of India, Mr. Vijay Shukla, Judge, Madhya Pradesh High Court, honorable judges who joined this gathering virtually, respected Mr. Tushar Mehta, Solicitor General of India, Mr. Vikas Singh, President Supreme Court Bar Association, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President Supreme Court Bar Association, Ms. Pragya Baghel, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Devbhat, President SCORA, and the office bearers of the members of the Supreme Court Bar Association, executive members of the SCORA, learned senior counsels, additional Solicitor General present, learned advocates representing the Union of India and the state, dear members of the bar, my family members who are my pillar of strength, family members of Justice Mittal, Secretary General, and registry officers of Supreme Court, media personals, distinguished guests, gracious ladies and gentlemen. Honorable the Chief Justice of India prepared a platform that today you have to speak something in poem also. And permit me for that at occasions when required, not ordinarily. But I will share a right thought today which we have. Life, my dear friends, is much like a part-heart matter. We prepare for it for years, argue the points with all our might, navigate the unexpected questions from the bench, and just when we think we have finally hit our stride, the clock strikes 4 p.m. and the bench rises for the day. Today, and perhaps for the only time, the board stands discharged, not for you all, but for me. As I stand before you after taking off the robe of the responsibility, I am not filled with exhaustion of long day, but with profound satisfaction of a completed journey. When a SCBA told me that I had to address this August gathering, I must admit that I was a bit alarmed. I have spent more than 2 decades as a judge saying many things, but perhaps most commonly some of the following, which I say, Learned Counsel, please come to the point. May I put certain questions? Let us understand that is the crux of the matter. Now the table have turned, and the boss seems to have returned the favor by giving me no time limit and a captive audience. आज यहाँ खड़े होकर मुझे एक बात समझ आ रही है. The Supreme Court Bar Association knows how to do things exceptionally well. 1, argue without notes. 2, give a farewell to grant that even a retiring judge begins to feel that perhaps retirement itself deserves review. Like this. But I must confess there is something deeply humbling about this movement. For decades I sat on the bench listening to everyone else speak. Today, perhaps for the first time in many years, I have the liberty to speak without worrying whether somebody will cite my words tomorrow as a precedent. My dear friends, much like the iconic black gown we all wear in these sacred halls, वो जब नया होता है तो बहुत भारी और स्टिफ लगता है. The fabric is rigid, the folds are awkward, and you constantly feel its weight on your shoulders. But as the year passes, the year of running through these corridors and sweating over briefs, that some gown soften, it takes the shape of your shoulders. It becomes a part of your skin. This moment I stand before you today, not as a Justice Maheshwari, but as someone who started his journey exactly before you are sitting today. साथियों, सफ़र बड़ा लंबा रहा है. A boy from a small town where in 1972 dacoit surrender was there. The inspiration of pursue a career in law was elder brother's office. The law was never my first choice. Started with BSc, wanted to become a doctor, office switched to another stream where admission was only in sub-engineer, then passed BA. Thereafter, prepared for provisionary officer's examination, got selected, call letter got delivered in a different address. This is reality of the life, sir, which I am saying. Matter of destiny appeared for the civil judge examination, got selected in 1987, though started practicing law by then under my former guru, late R.C. Lahoti. Because public service examination was there in those days, so I have to appear for interview after 2-3 months in between the main and written examination. Once upon a day in the night, he called me. Jitin, you want to become a civil judge? Have you seen your family structure? Would you be in a position to earn for all of them being a judge, civil judge? I left the idea to become a civil judge and not appeared for the oral interview. Then with big dreams, armed with nothing but a few bare acts and a lot of courage, I entered litigation. हाथ में फाइल कम थी पर दिल में उम्मीद बहुत ज़्यादा. मन में बस एक मंत्र था कामयाबी का. कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं होता, ईमानदारी की कोई एक्सपायरी डेट नहीं होती. I'm telling you a right story. When I started my practice, I was not having a place of stay in Gwalior, in a rented premises. A bicycle used to go, but thinking in my part that when I go in the court, I should not go by a bicycle. So my friend was staying 50 meters far from the High Court. So I put my bicycle there, then bear my coat there, and then come to the court having a gown in my hand. Thinking was how better dignity of profession can be maintained. Let me tell you, I have lived the life you are living. मैंने भी अपनी दोस्तों के साथ कैंटीन में चाय पी है. While discussing whether a particular judgment was per incuriam, I have also been part of those famous corridors, whispers. You know the ones. आज बेंच का मूड कैसा है? आज लगता है मैलॉर्ड गुस्से में है. पास ओवर ले लेना, नहीं मिले तो बता देना, आ जाऊंगा. This is the real stories. Let me share a story with you from my days of advocacy when I appeared before this very court. Justice Venkat Chalaya sitting in court number 1. I appeared, I saw that he was dealing with habeas corpus matter. He asked that the corpus has not been produced in a court despite the order. It is the Supreme Court wherein on being saying the corpus cannot be produced. This is heights. List tomorrow, corpus must be there. And fortunately I was there on the next day also. And I found the corpus was there. So since then, the personal liberty has imprinted in my mind how better we can prevent, how better we can protect. Dear friends, much has been said about me, but I can tell you, if I was strict on facts, I was not to intimidate you. I was because the law demands rigor. It was because I wanted the bar to shine its absolute brightest and assist the court in true sense. When a young lawyer argues with clarity and conviction, यकीन मानिए बेंच पर बैठकर दिल खुश हो जाता था. And thought it discuss with the judges, well prepared, well arguing, brilliance. The transition from the bar to the bench in 2005 was a profound leap. अगर हम देखें तो फिजिकली पोडियम एंड डैश के बीच सिर्फ कुछ कदमों का फासला होता है, लेकिन सोच और जिम्मेदारी के पर्सपेक्टिव से वह एक दूसरा समुंदर लगता है. व्हेन आई टुक द ओथ, तब समझ आया कि सिर्फ एक साइड रखने का दौर ख़त्म, अब जिम्मेदारी थी बीच का रास्ता और बीच का सच ढूंढने की. From Madhya Pradesh to being a Chief Justice of Andhra Pradesh and then Sikkim, I witnessed different cultures, terrains, and languages. But something did not change. One, the aspiration of the common man for seeking justice. Second, the members of the bar who enlightened us on facts and law. And the last but not least, the efficiency and care of the staff, without whom no court could over function. Coming to the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, I feel it fortunate to serve this court and to serve the nation. When I came to the institution of Pinnacle, it was never a part of the regular journey of my life. In 16 February 2004, I remember a date rightly, I gave my consent, but my age was very, not with me, of 42 and a half. It could not be materialized. I decided to have a practice in Supreme Court and to practice here at that time. When I was planning, but I thought it, my senior was here, then immediate thereafter, I will shift. In the meantime, I came here, but coming for a case, leaving 20 to 40 cases per day in the bench, it was very taxing to those who have a trust on me. So, escape the ideas, and in the meantime, some judge came and court told me, no, mister, you must be there. Anyway, this was a fate in which I have to come here, and I am here with all of you. This institution has a gravity of its own. Here I saw the finest legal minds spar. I will miss the passion, the creativity of this bar, and definitely the famous phrase, my lords, just one more minute, which, as we all know, is the legal code of 20 minutes afresh for argument. As a judge, people often think we just come in, hear arguments, dictates orders, and go home. But let me share a secret. From this side of the bench, the weight of this judicial pen is heavier than any sword in the history. किसी ने अच्छा कहा है, अकल गो के रहवर है, मीन्स बुद्धि भले ही मार्गदर्शन करती हो, अकल गो के रहवर है, मगर दिल भी तो है, राह इंसाफ में दोनों की ज़रूरत है. रास्ते में चलने के लिए तर्क नहीं, संवेदना और मानवीय भावना दोनों की ज़रूरत होती है. I often heard members of the bar say, my lord, the difficulty is, and then likelihood I say, that you would have heard my reply, problems are so many, but मसला ये है, मसला ये नहीं कि दर्द कितना है, मुद्दा ये है कि परवाह किसको है. If we were to really think about it, where is the lie? There is no depth of problem around us. How we deal with them and what we do to improve the situation depends more often than not on one thing, our mindset. How the mindset has to be, सिमंगल सिंह ने बहुत अच्छा लिखा, गति प्रबल पैरों में भरी, फिर क्यों रहूं दर दर खड़ा, जब आज मेरे सामने है रास्ता इतना पड़ा, कुछ हंस लिए कुछ रो लिए, जीवन का यही पैगाम है, चलना हमारा काम है, बस चलना हमारा काम है. Let your mindset be the compass of that point you towards one shared goal all of us have, advancing access to justice. Work hard, keep your dedication stronger, and know that the law is always on the right side, even if one particular judgment is not. For the members of the bar, if we really think about it, the bar is truly the mother of the legal profession. A young advocate enters the court much like child, eager, inexperienced, and ready to learn. It is the bar that holds their hand, teaching them the craft of law and the ways to court. Even when an advocate is elevated to the bench, they continue to be guided by the values of the intellect instilled by this mother institution. Finally, upon retirement, the journey comes full circle. They return to the bar not as a former judge, but as a family coming home. And today, you can understand, Mr. Vikas Singh made a declaration that you would be the honorary member. Friends, through every phase of a legal career, the bar remains a constant nurturing force that sharps you, supports you, and is forever gracious to welcome you back. For the Supreme Court Bar Association and the SCORA, I can say, कोई समझ ना सके वो बात है हम, जो कभी न छूटे वो साथ हैं हम. To the members of the bar, I owe a massive debt of gratitude. We judges are like the solitary umpires on a cricket pitch, but you are the players who make the game beautiful. Without your brilliant argument and thorough research, coupled with occasional dramatic and theatrical submissions, the court would be a lifeless place. I have seen seniors mentoring juniors right inside the courtroom. I have seen the five-sets of rival tearing each other apart during arguments. Only a share, a samosa and cup of tea of the Supreme Court Bar Association canteen minutes later. This camaraderie is the soul of our profession. कोर्टरूम के अंदर की तकरार और बाहर का प्यार, यही इस पेशे की खूबसूरती है. In conclusion, as I prepare to demit office, I am reminded of the beautiful lines that captures my state of mind. सफ़र लंबा था मगर ठीक से गुजर गया, कुछ बिखरे हुए लम्हों को यादों में पिरोकर भर गया. I leave this institution with a heart full of peace and suitcase full of memories. I must thank my family, first and foremost, my ancestors whose lessons have guided me, my wife, children, and family members who have patiently endured my distract presence at the dining table with my mind remained occupied with some parted matter. They have been my invisible strength. To my brother and sister judges, thank you for your shared mentorship, companionship, and shared wisdom to the bench. To my personal staff, my law research team, the registry, and the court masters, you are the unsung heroes who keep this system running. Today, as the curtains draw to a close to my judicial career, My spirit remains forever tied to pursuit of justice and the love for this great institution. The robes will come off, but the student of law inside, J.K. Maheshwari, will never retire or ever be tired. Thank you to the Supreme Court Bar Association for this honor. Thank you for making this journey so worthwhile. And at last, what I thought, वे वजह तो नहीं थी, पर अब तकलीफ न देंगे. वे वजह तो नहीं थी, पर अब तकलीफ न देंगे. थोड़ी ही सही, पर यादों में ज़रूर रहेंगे. इसे अलविदा न समझिए ये जनाब, क्योंकि इस गली में नहीं तो फिर किसी और मोड़ पर मिलेंगे. अब जो इस सफ़र ख़त्म हुआ है, बस इतनी सी दुआ साथ ले जाएं कि इंसाफ आम लोगों के दिलों में हम यूं ही जिंदा पाएं. प्लीज़, वी हैव टू वर्क फॉर द इंस्टीट्यूशन whatever we can do, and thank you very much everyone for cognizant of my behavior and everything. Thank you. I will have a cognizant of memories which you gave me. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
थैंक यू लॉर्डशिप. आज की यह शाम कुछ खास है, भावनाओं का मधुर एहसास है. अब एक ऐसी शख्सियत जस्टिस मित्तल को नमन करने का अवसर है, जिसका न्याय, विनम्रता और गरिमा से गहरा सरोकार है. नाउ आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑनरेबल जस्टिस पंकज मित्तल, जज सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ इंडिया, टू डिलीवर हिज एड्रेस.
नमस्ते. आज खुशी की इस बेला पर, आज खुशी की इस बेला पर, आज विदा की इस बेला पर, लेता हूँ मैं आशीष सभी के, लेता हूँ मैं आशीष सभी के. My esteemed Justice Suryakant, Chief Justice of India, my esteemed brother Justice J.K. Maheshwari, my sister and brother judges, present and past, some judges from different high courts, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Attorney General of India, Mr. Tushar Mehta probably is not there, Solicitor General of India, Mr. Vikas Singh, President, Supreme Court Bar Association and his team, Mr. Devvrat, President SCORA and his associates, senior advocates present, members of the bar, Secretary General, officers and staff of the registry, members of my personal staff, family of Justice Maheshwari, my own family members, friends, and some friends from Allahabad, Nagpur, and Meerut. I am overwhelmed by this farewell organized by the Supreme Court Bar Association, which marks the final station of a legal journey that spanned decades. As I prepare to demit office, I look at this hall and see not just the faces of my esteemed colleagues, but also the collective consciousness of the bar that stands as an unwavering pillar of our constitutional democracy. Your kind words today touched me deeply, and I accept them as a reflection of your generosity. At the very outset, I express my heartfelt gratitude to the Supreme Court Bar Association for its generosity in the ceremonial bench earlier today, and now again for the farewell in the evening. To be very candid, when I entered the legal profession as a young advocate, I had never dreamt that one day I would be sitting on the bench, much less have the privilege of serving in different constitutional courts across the country. My aspirations at that stage were far simpler: to learn the craft of advocacy, to earn respect of the bar, and to uphold the values of the profession with sincerity and dignity. Life, however, often has its own plans, and I consider myself fortunate that the profession gave opportunities for greater than anything I had ever imagined. My journey began in the historic city of Meerut, the ancient land known as Maharashtra in the Vedic era, sits close to Hastinapur, the legendary capital of Kauravas and Pandavas. It is the very soil where the first flame of our freedom struggle was ignited in 1957. As I reflect upon my journey of life, my mind naturally travels back to the very beginning, to my childhood in Meerut, to Kothi Ram Batika, my ancestral house, built by my grandfather in 1928. It was not merely a house. It was a living institution in itself, a large joint family bound together by affection and values. Whatever little virtues people may find in me today have their roots in that environment and in the guidance I received from my elders, particularly my father and my uncles. In those days, education was not confined to school alone. Much of it came through conversations at home, through observation, through discipline, and through the culture of the family itself. I vividly remember my uncle narrating stories about the evolution of the earth, civilization, and human society. As children, we would listen to him with immense curiosity and amazement. Looking back, now I realize these conversations quietly nurtured us a sense of inquiry, imagination, and respect for knowledge. I also fondly remember my father's library. It was known as Mithal Library, which to me as a child appeared no less than a treasure house. During vacations, he would often encourage me to read books from his collection. The shelves contained not only law books, but books on history, philosophy, literature, and many other subjects. After I finished reading, he would sit with me and discuss the ideas and the themes contained in them. Those discussions widened my horizons and cultivated in me the habit of reading, reflection, and independent thinking, habits which remained with me throughout my life and judicial career. My roots in Meerut shaped my early values, and my education later brought me to Prayagraj. In the sacred city of the Sangam, the waters of Ganga, Jamuna, and Saraswati offered more than just an environment for study. The Ganga provided blessings, the Jamuna imparted a sense of patience, and the silent current of Saraswati drew my mind toward Hindi literature and spiritual reflections. Prayagraj and Lucknow eventually became my primary workplaces. I entered the legal profession following a long family tradition which made me a third-generation lawyer. I began my practice at the Allahabad High Court, a court rich in history, traditions, and legal scholarship. By the grace of God, and perhaps with the blessings of my elders, I was fortunate enough to receive a brief on the very first day of my practice itself. That initial encouragement strengthened my confidence and deepened my commitment towards the profession. My elevation to the bench of the Allahabad High Court in the year 2006 marked a transition in my life. I must admit that I did not initially possess a strong inclination for serving on the bench, yet the Allahabad High Court welcomed me, and I spent 15 years there serving as a judge. That period was a unique phase of my career, resembling a quiet practice of discipline, dedication, and introspection. Allahabad High Court, with its glorious traditions and rich jurisprudential heritage, gave me not only judicial experience, but also a deep appreciation of institutional discipline, constitutional values, and culture of scholarship that has historically defined Allahabad. From the plains of Uttar Pradesh, my path then moved toward the northern crown of our nation. I took charge as the Chief Justice of the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. It was a profound spiritual privilege to serve under the divine blessings of Mata Vaishno Devi and Raghunath Ji, whose grace I carried throughout my time there. Serving in the beautiful region for merely 2 years opened my eyes to the incredible potential of its people. I found the judicial officers and the members of the bar there to be remarkably honest, industrious, and simple in their dealings. Destiny then directed my steps toward the vibrant land of Rajasthan. I entered this new chapter carrying the enduring grace of Srinath Ji and Govind Ji, whose blessings quietly guided my path forward. The people of the historic province adopted me with immense warmth. Their traditional greetings, Padharo Hamare Desh and Khamma Ghadi, possesses a unique charm that wins everyone's heart. My time there allowed me to appreciate the pink hues of Jaipur, the sun-drenched blue streets of Jodhpur, and the serene white lakes of Udaipur and the golden sands of Jaisalmer. Every phase across these diverse regions gradually prepared me for the larger constitutional responsibilities that awaited me in the Supreme Court of India. Each court taught me something different about the expectations of justice, administration, and public trust. Throughout my judicial career, I also had opportunities to engage with the administrative side of the judicial institutions, whether improving infrastructure, framing policy initiatives, strengthening judicial administration, or encouraging institutional efficiency. My endeavor always remained focused on strengthening public faith in the justice delivery system. I always believed that justice must not be fair in substance, but also efficient and accessible in delivery. As I near the conclusion of my journey, one concern increasingly occupies my mind: the condition and the future of the judicial delivery system. From the vantage point of Supreme Court, one gets a wider and sometimes a sobering view of the challenges confronting the judiciary. The mounting pendency of cases is not merely a statistical issue or an administrative concern. It directly affects the lives, liberties, and aspirations of millions of citizens who approach courts with hope and faith. Every pending case represents a human story awaiting resolution, a family dispute prolonging distress, and an under trial awaiting liberty, a commercial matter affecting livelihoods, or a citizen seeking protection of constitutional rights. Behind every file lies a human life suspended in uncertainty. Delay in justice burdens not merely institutions, but the society itself. At the same time, one must recognize the extraordinary pressures under which the judiciary functions. Constitutional courts today are constantly required to address questions involving governance, technology, liberty, economic regulation, social justice, and constitutional morality. Yet institutions ultimately survive not merely on authority, but on public trust. Despite imperfections and delays, ordinary citizens continue to approach courts because they believe justice will ultimately prevail. Preserving that trust is the foremost duty of every stakeholder in the system. I have often felt that the answer to these challenges lies not only in increasing infrastructure or judicial strength, though those are important, but also in strengthening institutional culture, discipline, efficiency, and sensitivity. Technology can assist us, reforms can support us, but ultimately the soul of justice delivery still depends upon human commitment. Ultimately, institutions are sustained not merely by systems or structures, but by the sincerity of the individuals who served them. At times, I found myself helpless sitting at the apex court. I am reminded of two lines from Kamaini of Jaishankar Prasad. हिमगिरी के उत्तुंग शिखर पर हिमगिरी के उत्तुंग शिखर पर बैठ शिला की ठंडी छाँव, एक पुरुष भीगे नैनों से देख रहा था प्रलय प्रभाव. This becomes the situation of a judge. I want to speak directly to the younger generations of lawyers and junior advocates who represent the future of this noble profession. True professional success does not arrive through shortcuts, superficial presentations, or quick fix. It comes entirely through relentless hard work, continuous dedication, and unwavering commitment to your clients and the court. Along with these traits, always strive to maintain a simple, accessible personality. Humility and accessibility will earn you lasting respect of the bar and the bench, far more than any display of technical arrogance. Expand your professional horizons, venture boldly into new fields of law, and accept complex challenges with courage. The legal profession today stands at the threshold of a technological transformation driven by artificial intelligence. While technology can assist lawyers in research, organization, and access to information, we must remain cautious that convenience does not replace careful legal reasoning. No software, however advanced, can substitute the trained human mind, ethical responsibility, and judicial consciousness that the justice system requires. We are already witnessing instances where unchecked reliance on artificial intelligence has resulted in inaccurate pleadings, false citations, and careless drafting finding their way into courts. Such practices weaken professional standards and risk undermining the credibility of the institution itself. Technology must remain a tool of aid in the hands of the advocates, not a replacement for the advocate's intellect, responsibility, and duty to the court. Delivering justice is a solemn and peaceful responsibility, and I consider myself fortunate to have been entrusted with this duty. A judge must burn like sun, moment by moment. तिल तिल जलना पड़ता है सूरज की तरह, तब डिवाइन जस्टिस की हम बात कर सकते हैं. A judge must burn like the sun, moment by moment, in service of justice and the larger public good. It is not an easy path, but through constant effort and commitment, one strives to fulfill it with sincerity. However, no institution can progress solely because of one individual. Institutions progress collectively. Judges, lawyers, registry officers, judicial officers, and the court staff all contribute towards sustaining the justice delivery system. I have been fortunate throughout my career to receive immense cooperation and goodwill from the colleagues on the bench, members of the bar, registry official, and judicial officers across all jurisdictions where I serve. The Supreme Court Bar Association has shown exceptional professionalism. The assistance of learned counsel in complex constitutional and civil matters made the task of adjudication systematic and precise. A strong and independent bar is the greatest asset to an enduring judiciary. The role of the bar becomes even more critical in preserving public faith in the justice system. In this context, we must reflect deeply on the fundamental identity of a lawyer. Society frequently views the legal profession through the restrictive lens of conflict and litigation. True advocacy, however, extends far beyond battleground of the courtrooms. Lawyers are the architects of peace and peacemakers within our social order. Your primary calling is to mend social fractures, resolve long-standing disputes, and restore harmony where there is discord. By promoting reconciliation, honest settlement, and mutual understanding, you make justice sulabh, sasta, and saral, accessible, affordable, and simple. As I prepare to step down from the office, the rapid passage of time becomes vivid. The years have sped past, leaving behind wealth of experience. कदम उठे भी नहीं कि सफ़र तमाम हो गया, कदम उठे भी नहीं कि सफ़र तमाम हो गया, गजब है रहा का इतना भी मुकत्सर होना. This milestone brings to mind a beautiful poem which forces me to reflect deeply on the reality of human relationship. ख्वाहिश नहीं मुझे मशहूर होने की, ख्वाहिश नहीं मुझे मशहूर होने की, आप मुझे पहचानते हैं, बस इतना ही काफ़ी है. अच्छे ने अच्छा और बुरे ने बुरा जाना मुझे, जितनी ज़रूरत थी उतना ही पहचाना मुझे. खुश हूँ और सबको खुश रखता हूँ, लापरवाह हूँ खुद के लिए मगर सबकी परवाह करता हूँ. मालूम है कोई मोल नहीं मेरा, मालूम है कोई मोल नहीं मेरा, पर कुछ अनमोल लोगों से रिश्ते रखता हूँ. I thank all my sister and brother judges, members of the bar, registry officers, the staff of the Supreme Court for their unflinching support. In me, you will always find a good friend and guide whenever you need my services. I am thankful to my personal staff, private secretaries, Mr. S.K. Rakheja ji, Vikas, Sachin, and my current law clerks and research assistants, Nancy Goyal, Shreya Ujjal, Devraj Bhargav, Ojaswini, and Shivam. My previous law clerks, Sunil, Mehak, Tanishq, and Isha. Stenographers, typists, workers, orderlies, and my personal security officers, Dinesh, Prem, and Anil, for their sincere and dedicated service rendered to me during my tenure, without which it would not have been possible for me to discharge my duties. I must acknowledge the immense support of my family. The life of a lawyer and later of a judge demands sacrifices that often remain unseen. Behind every judicial office is a family that quietly bears the burdens of the responsibility, long working hours, and public life. I remain deeply grateful for their patience, encouragement, and understanding throughout this journey. My wife, my children, and my family members have been my constant pillars of support. They provided the strength and inspiration that kept me moving forward through every challenge. It gives me particular satisfaction that my son Vinayak now continues this family tradition at the Allahabad High Court and may shift his base to Delhi very soon. My cousin Parveen Mittal is actively engaged in the legal field at Meerut, and many among the younger generation of our family have also chosen careers in law, both in India and abroad. To see the next generation uphold the values and discipline of legal profession is a matter of great pride and happiness for me. As I look back today, I feel a sense of satisfaction, not because of positions held or offices occupied, but because I was given the opportunity to serve institutions that stand at the heart of our constitutional democracy. In every responsibility entrusted to me and in every decision I was required to take, I endeavored to keep the Antaratma of Bharat, the civilization, consciousness, values, and intimate sense of justice of this nation as my guiding light. Our nation possesses an ancient soul. Our legal systems and constitutional structures must always remain connected to that deeper moral conscience. Law is not merely a collection of provisions and precedents. It is an instrument to secure fairness, dignity, and justice for the common citizen. No human being is entirely free of flaws, and I do not claim to be an exception. During the discharge of my judicial duties, there may have been occasions where my words or actions unintentionally caused discomfort or hurt the feelings of the colleagues or members of the bar. I assure you that any such instance was completely unintentional. I leave this office with a heart full of pleasant memories, profound respect for this institution, and absolutely no ill will towards anyone. I simply say, ऐसा नहीं कि मुझ में कोई ऐब नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं कि मुझ में कोई ऐब नहीं, पर सच कहता हूँ मुझ में कोई फरेब नहीं। अंत में केवल इतना ही कहूँगा कि गुण तो ना था कोई भी, पर अवगुण मेरे भुला देना, अवगुण मेरे भुला देना। जय हिंद, जय भारत।
Now I request Mr. Vikas Singh, President, and Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Vice President, SCBA, to present a memento on behalf of the bar to Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari, sir, and Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mithal, sir, Judges, Supreme Court of India. Now I request Mr. Minesh Dubey, Joint Secretary, SCBA, to kindly deliver vote of thanks. All the EC members, there will be a group photograph afterwards. Please come on the stage after that.
Thank you, Pragya. Honorable Mr. Justice Surikant, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari, Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Judge Supreme Court of India, Sri R. Venkatramani, Attorney General for India, Sri Vikas Singh, President, Sri Rahul Kaushik, Vice President, Ms. Pragya Baghel, Honorary Secretary, SCBA, Senior Advocates, members of the bar. On this solemn and memorable occasion of the farewell of Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, it's my proud privilege to propose the vote of thanks. सर, दो पंक्तियां हैं आप लोग के लिए। अदल के सफ़र में आप दोनों ने जो निशा छोड़े हैं, वक्त की गर्द भी उन्हें मिटा न सकेगी। आज रुखसती का लम्हा है जरूर, मगर तारीख आपको भुला ना सकेगी। न झुककर फैसला दिया, न डरकर कलम उठाई, हर शब्द में ईमानदारी और मर्यादा नजर आई। ऐसे न्यायमूर्तियों को सलाम करता है देश, जिन्होंने कानून को सिर्फ पढ़ा नहीं, निभाया भी है। Today's gathering is not merely a formal farewell, but a heartfelt tribute to two distinguished judges whose contribution to the institution and the legal fraternity shall always be remembered with immense respect. Honorable Mr. Justice J.K. Maheshwari has always been regarded as a judge of great discipline, firmness, and impeccable command over the court proceedings. At first glance, his lordship may appear strict on the bench, but every member for the bar who had the privilege of appearing before his lordship knows that behind that disciplined exterior is a very kind, compassionate, and soft-hearted human being. His lordship, fairness, patience, and concern for justice have always inspired confidence and respect amongst lawyers and litigants alike. Honorable Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal has been admired for his simplicity, humility, and extremely gracious conduct in court. His lordship has always maintained a very warm and comfortable atmosphere during proceedings, making every member of the bar feel heard and respected. His soft-spoken nature, calm approach, and courteous interaction with advocates have earned immense affection from the legal fraternity. On behalf of all present here, I extend our sincere gratitude to both the honorable judges for their invaluable service to the judiciary and the nation. Their lordship have not only enriched the institution through their judicial wisdom, but have also left behind beautiful personal memories for the members of the bar. We pray for the good health, happiness, and fulfilling future for Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari and Honorable Justice Pankaj Mithal. I also extend my sincere thanks to Ms. Uma Maheshwari, wife of Honorable Justice J.K. Maheshwari, and Ms. Kanika Mittal, wife of Honorable Justice Pankaj Mittal, Judge Supreme Court of India. Your presence has added great warmth and meaning to this occasion. We are grateful to Honorable Mr. Justice Rishikesh Roy and Honorable Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal, retired judges, Supreme Court of India, and Justice Shukla of MP High Court for joining us. I also thank Mr. Anil Kaushik, Ms. Archana Pathak Dabe, Additional Solicitor General of India, legal notary, senior advocates, and members of the bar who have joined us today. Your presence adds immense value to this celebration. I also extend my sincere thanks to Mr. J.M. Sharma, Ms. Rachna Srivastav, former Vice President, and Mr. Ardhendu Moili Prasad, former Secretary of SCBA. I also thank Mr. Devrat, President, Nikhil Jain, Vice President, Ms. Yogandhara Pawar Jha, Honorary Secretary of ISKCORA. Also thanks to Mr. Snesis Mukherjee, former Vice President of ISKCORA. I extend my sincere thanks to learned Secretary General Sri Bharat Parasar, Registrar Admin Mr. Kuntal Pathak, and other Registrar of Supreme Court and members of the media for their coverage and support. I request all EC members to come on the dais for photograph.
Please join us for high tea on second floor and ground floor.
अब ये इधर आएगा, ये बस इस साइड से देखो जरा, इस साइड आएगा ये। हमारी फोटो आ रही, तो आप इधर आओ। वसी जी यहाँ और गिलास या तो हमारे सारे
चलो
और क्या लगे बबलू